What is up, Earthnoids, Space Noids, and Jovians? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we are diving into the short manga Crossbone Gundam Skull Heart. This story consists of a series of vignettes following Crossbone Vanguard, which takes place between Universal Century 133 to 136. We will see what Tobia and Crossbone Vanguard has been up to since the end of the Jupiter invasion of Earth. So let's get into this. UC-136. The people of space have heard rumors of the mobile suit with the skull on its chest. They refer to this unit as Skull Heart. A young girl named Stella Twink. Nope, I don't feel right about saying that. She is on her computer writing the history on the Jupiter Massacre and Crossbone Vanguard, but she thinks that she should also add the story of Skull Heart. After Crossbone Vanguard took out Croxtogati and his forces, Barra and Kincaid lived in peace on Earth. However, many went back into space. This is their story. She decides to not add this part to her book. Perhaps one day she could actually publish it. Stella is with Uman, Tobia, and Bernadette. The old man is telling his stories once again. Everyone is tired of hearing them, but Stella wants to hear it. The year was UC-0079. A young Uman is making mods on his ball. His commander comes over and yells at him for messing with his unit. He says that he made the ball look more intimidating. His commander punches him in the head. We look up in the hangar to reveal the B Gundam. The B Gundam is just a ball with a Gundam face and is used for intimidation, as many feared the Gundam. This thing completely messes with the balance of the ball and obstructs the pilot's vision. The B Gundam also seems to be an unofficial name that the translator used, and everyone just kind of went with it, even the wiki. But it is quite fitting a name, so I get it. His commander, Yona Kinnison, in a gym, continues calling Uman an idiot. He is also only 16 years old during the 1 Year War. He says one day he will be a man and tell the commander how he feels about her. The team heads into what will become the Battle of Solomon. He increases his thrusters only to begin spinning uncontrollably. The MBAC system is all messed up from his shift and weight. Uman continues to be a silly idiot on the battlefield. However, his plan began to work. Throughout Solomon, people have been hearing whispers of the Gundam on the battlefield. One person that overhears these rumors are none other than the Nightmare of Solomon himself, Anavel Gato. Gato heads out in his mobile suit to intercept. Because of this, it allowed Amado to break through Solomon's defenses and force their way towards Dozel. Many of the forces start to think that the Gundam is nothing because they actually encountered Uman. That is when he and Yona make their way towards 7th Gate. Because the B Gundam just peeks its head out from behind an asteroid, it makes it seem like a giant mobile suit. That is when a team of Rickdoms go in to attack. They realize that the Gundam head is just one ball. One pilot laughs at him. He takes out Yona's arms on her gym. Uman goes in to protect her. He notices a skull insignia on their mobile suits. Uman is a new type and is able to adapt to his unit being off balance. He flails around like a madman and uses his 180mm rifle as a blunt weapon. A Dom pilot says that he moves like the mighty Styracosaurus. That is such a specific dinosaur to reference. He calls him trash, but Uman already knew that. He ejects the Gundam face. It crashes into the Dom, causing it to blow up. That day, Uman shot down 6 Doms. For him, that was enough to prove that he is a new type, but he is nowhere near as talented as Amado Ray. He goes to save Yona. While on his ball, Uman notices that Yona has a ring on it. She says that he needs to keep a better eye on his targets. This whole time, Uman makes the story out like Yona is going to die. But nope, he was just rejected. Meanwhile, back in the future, he touches Yona's ass like the pervy old man he is now. Remember, Crossbone Vanguard also has a pilot named Yona. She happens to be Yona Kinnison's granddaughter. Kincaid comes in and looks up at his new Crossbone Gundam. This is post F91, but pre-Crossbone Gundam. Uman tells Kincaid to paint a skull on it. UC-133. Crossbone Vanguard is making its way towards Earth to warn the Federation of Croxtogati's true intentions. They attack the Jupiter fleet near an asteroid. Tobia wakes up and is met by Stella. He tells him that this is her asteroid and she is the princess. It is one of the Jupiter Empire's hidden mines. They took it over about 10 years ago. The pirates didn't know about it because it was originally in a high-speed orbit around the sun, and the Jupiter fleet moved it in between Earth and Jupiter. She has been there alone for 10 years. She refers to this place as Wonderland and refers to Tobia as Peter Pan. He says that he will try to get her back to her home planet. That is when they hear a noise. It is the Jupiter fleet. He wants to do something, but that is when Stella hits him over the head and ties him up. She did this because she wants to stay here and be left alone on Neverland. But the Jupiter Empire says, nah, we're still gonna blow it up. That is when Kincaid and X1 comes in to help. He begins attacking Nautilus Kais. The Nautilus Kai is a mass-produced variant of the Nautilus. The only difference between this and the prototype is that the cutting wires have been replaced with a beam claw. The two kids get into a Pez Battaya, but can't get it up and running. Tobia and Stella get out and Kincaid grabs the tiny axe mobile suit, wielding it like a heat hawk. Remember, the face of the Pez Battaya is like an axe. He tears through the Nautilus Kais. After the battle, they try to get Stella to come with them, but she decides to stay on what is now rubble, I assume? Your asteroids now tinier asteroids. Yay. She asks Tobia to come and visit her sometime. She says that she will never forget the first person she met outside of her fairy tales. UC-135. A mail carrier ship is attacked by Jupiter forces. The space pirates approach them. Crossbone Vanguard is now rocking the Little Gray. Like the Mother Vanguard, so too is the Little Gray designed for interstellar travel, and is a part of Crossbone Vanguard's second-generation fleet. Everything on board is a smaller version of the Mother, and it lacks beam shields and less armor. We will mainly see it being used as a cargo vessel. Most importantly, it doesn't have the Minosky drive, and takes 3 months to get from Earth to Jupiter. They engage with the male ship, who happens to have mass production F-91s. They think that Crossbone Vanguard has fallen to a new low since the battle against Crux Dogati. We get a flashback of the male ship commander, Harrison, where his commanding officer tells him that his cargo is so important that the crew must sacrifice themselves protecting it if necessary. Nearby is a squad of Aranyas. The EMS-12 Aranya is a mass-produced late-stage mobile suit used by the Jupiter Empire. Like most Jupiter mobile suits, this is built off of the Battaya, which was developed into Aranya Battayas. This is an ever more slimmed-down version of that. This is 10 meters tall, just like the Abiho. This bug mobile suit also focuses on speed and mobility. However, its weapons are superior to the Abiho. This mobile suit also has the weakest defenses seen in a mobile suit. Don't get hit. Weapons include a beam rifle mounted on the shoulder, a beam saber, and a 7-bladed beam saber, which is a scaled-down Muramasa blaster found on the X-2 Kai. They move in and take over the ship while the Federation space pirates fight. They break onto the ship and tell the crew that there is a breach in trust within the Federation, and the wealth on their ship is proof. It seems that a Federation faction and the Jupiter Empire work together, which is why Crux and his forces were able to get to Earth no problem. As the Jupiter forces tell this to the male crew, Tobia just floats by and goes, hey. They wonder how he broke through their defenses. They were too busy looking out for mobile suits and didn't think people would just float over in normal suits. While this was happening, they were able to free the entire male ship crew with the exception of the two on the bridge. This upsets the Jupiter commander and he shoots the window. Everyone is sucked out into space. Tobia uses a grappling hook to save the two Federation soldiers. He floats over to a dummy asteroid that is hiding the core fighter, and Aranya saves the Jupiter commander. They chase after him. Uman sends out the X-1. He just kind of pushes the mobile suit off the ship. Kind of looks funny. The core fighter docks with the Gundam and forms into Skull Heart. The XM X1 Crossbone Gundam X1 Kai Kai Skull Heart is a modified version of the X1 that was handed down to Tobia. Its new weapon is the Peacock Smasher, which is a 9-barrel crossbow-like weapon that quickly drains the unit's energy. All other weapons are the same as the X1. He engages with the Aranyas. He drops the two Fedi soldiers out of his hand. He grabs them again, but he is attacked by a string gun. It is the Aranya Battaya. The EMS-06P Aranya Battaya is built off of the Battaya, but with a new torso model. The torso resembles a spider. 4 appendages contain fin nozzles, and 2 appendages have the 4-barrel string gun used to incapacitate units. Weapons include 4 Vulcans in the chest, a beam shield, a beam rifle, a beam saber, and a 7-bladed beam saber. The spider secures the Gundam's hands. He is tackled, but he gets his hands free. Skullheart uses the screw whip to take out the Aranya Battaya and the Jupiter commander. The F-91 approaches and tells him he doesn't want to, but he will fight the pirates if necessary. Tobia tells him to relax, as he was the one that the messengers were meeting with, and that he already got what he came for. They take off, but before taking off, he breaks the cargo bay, unleashing what I assume is a lot of money that the EFF faction was bribed with. The whole diatribe that Jupiter commander went on was for nothing. Tobia wasn't even here for that. What he was after happened to be photos and letters from Barrett and Kincaid. They seemed to have settled down, got married, opened up a new bakery, and had a child. They are happy for their former leaders. 3 people just died so this team could just go, "Aw, look at that baby." UC-136. In a junkyard, Tobia meets with a man who calls himself Gray Stoke, but this is just a cover. He wants Tobia to bring him Amado Ray. He is working as a transporter, but it is just a ruse. Also, their logo looks like the logo of a Japanese transportation and delivery company called Yamato Transport. I don't know if that is on purpose or not, but it's worth pointing out. Gray Stoke could tell that his mobile suit is merely disguised as a mobile worker, but there's something more powerful under the hood. Most certainly, this is Skullheart in disguise. This manga never mentions it, but this is Judo Ashita, our hero from Gundam Double Zeta. This will be elaborated on further once we get to victory. Later, in a cruiser, our heroes are heading towards a Jovian remnants base. The captain of this cruiser is Unmo, who we saw help resupply Crossbone Vanguard years earlier. They learn that Gray Stoke controls a neutral fleet that goes between Earth and Jupiter, at least until Jupiter took full control. Because of Crossbone Vanguard, they can return to their neutrality. He's putting a lot of his money into ensuring the Jupiter forces don't get what he is looking for. The living quarters separate from the cruiser to reveal that it is the Little Gray. The Jovian remnants launch their mobile suits. Tobia launches in Skullheart, and Gray Stoke launches in the Gump. The Gump is a mysterious mobile suit that is said to be based off of the enhanced Double Zeta Gundam and has been Gray Stoke's mobile suit of choice since UC-103. However, since it has been heavily modified over time, it is hard to tell exactly what it is. This unit's old generator will eventually be its downfall. Like Double Zeta, it has a high mega cannon on its head. Other weapons include a wing shield, a hyper beam saber, crushing pliers, a double beam rifle, a grenade launcher, and a peg leg machine gun. The Jovians attack Tobia, which reveals the Crossbone Gundam underneath. While the two fight, Stoke asks Tobia if he has ever heard of Amado Ray. He only knows of him from his history books. He is still considered to this day the strongest new type in recorded history, and one time he even took out 100 units with the Gundam. Uman and Yona also launch. We flash back to Uman, yelling at Stoke, telling him to explain himself. The old man explains that what he is looking for is battle data. There is a database of everything that Amado has on record, and the Jupiter fleet stole this data. They want to specifically create a bio-brain computer, just like Crux Dogati. It is a 1 in a million chance that they can make it happen, but there is still that tiny sliver of possibility, and if they make it happen, they will have a perfect soldier. Uman says that he and Amado are old buddies from the Battle of Solomon, and he could convince a clone of Amado to come to their side. Yona says he would kill us for making him sit through one of his boring stories. They head into the Jovian asteroid where Tobia gets a new type flash. He has a bad feeling. That feeling was spot on as they reveal that this place is a biocomputer plant. They're making matrix pods on asteroids. Suddenly, Uman's left arm is attacked. It is a new Jovian mobile suit, the Amakusa. Hey, that's a Japanese sounding name. You broke the Spanish motif going on with all the mobile suits. Boo. The Amakusa, also known as the Jupiter Gundam, is based off of the data acquired from X2 and is an unmanned AI-powered mobile suit. The key to this mobile suit's AI is the data retrieved from Amado's core fighter, and they created a bio-brain clone of him. This unit is 18 meters tall, which is very big for this era of Universal Century. It also thinks at lightning-fast speeds, and only a new type seems to be able to keep up with it. Weapons include a beam rifle, a beam saber, a real shield along with a beam shield, a claw, and a folding hammer. The folding hammer is very similar to the original Gundam. Also, this unit has a real shield because Amado had a real shield, and he used his shield like a murder weapon. It locks onto the two mobile suits. Everyone scatters, but it is very fast and instantly takes out Yona. She ejects in her core fighter. It then takes out Uman's flint, and he ejects as well. He remembers Uman mentioning that Amado Ray is someone who wouldn't hesitate to take out his enemy. Tobia realizes that this is the biocomputer of Amado Ray. He tells Yona to take Uman back to the ship. Tobia uses the Peacock Smasher on the Amakusa. He uses the folding hammer on Tobia and Stoke. The Amakusa smashes the two around. There is some cackling Jovian commander saying, "Yes, my creation!" in the background like a silly evil villain. She has the intention of mass-producing the Amakusa. That is when battalions come in and surround them. Tobia and Stoke go in for the attack when the Amakusa begins shooting his own men. The commander notices that the biocomputer's programming recognizes the battalions as the enemy and doesn't know why. This is Tobia's chance to move in. Their fighting becomes chaotic and begins destroying the base. Everyone begins evacuating, but the Jovian commander stays behind. Tobia grabs the Gump and the two flee temporarily. Tobia still intends on fighting. He can't let this thing leave the asteroid. The Gump and Skullheart go in. Amakusa uses its hammer again, but Tobia uses the anchor scissor to redirect the hammer back onto the Yamakasa. Oh hey, X1 still does have the anchor scissor installed. We mentioned that it was removed in the Kai. Maybe it was added back to the Kai? The biocomputer ejects. Seeing a bunch of brains fly away in a jar into space is something out of an 80s cartoon. I love it. The little gray watches the asteroid go up in flames. As the asteroid explodes, the Gump pulls Skullheart out of the flames. They head back to the Little Gray. Before breaking through the asteroid, Tobia could sense Bernadette. Stoke tells the story of Amuro escaping from a Bawaku. Legend has it that someone helped guide him out of the asteroid, similar to what has happened today. Stoke says that new types must understand themselves and others. UC-136. Captain Harrison, the F-91 pilot we saw from last episode, happens to have Stella. He's being chased by a bunch of Barbuses, piloted by monkeys. What? The MS-06 MS Barbus is a top-secret mobile suit for a project called Project E. This was created after Garmazabi saw a monkey playing video games at a zoo. This allowed for the creation of new type monkeys. Monkeys have greater dexterity, which allows them to control the 4 mandible arms, wielding 4 Gelgoog beam rifles no problem. It also has magnetic coating. Also, it should be pronounced Babarasu, as in bubbles, named after Michael Jackson's chimp. But I get it, I wouldn't translate a mobile suit into bubbles. We're about to die, quick, get in the bubble. See, it doesn't work. We cut to days earlier where Harrison is informed of the monkeys in the Side 2 debris field. They thought it was the pirates until they captured one of them. The monkeys were wearing Zeon uniforms. Harrison wonders if this is a Tony manga, referencing the famous mangaka Tony Takazaki, who did a Gundam gag manga, as well as an Evangelion gag manga. Harrison's commanding officer tells him not to break character. Did this manga just break the fourth wall? Interesting choice. The commander says they are limited in resources, so they are enlisting the help of a civilian team. It happens to be Tobia's transport business. The name of the company is Black Row Shipping. Okay, this is definitely a nod to Yamato Transport. Also, Tobia has a cat like Bear's parrot. Wait, did that parrot die when the Mother Vanguard went down? What happened to that parrot? There's no normal suits for parrots. That parrot's dead. Tobia meets Harrison. He remembers that he is the F-91 pilot that he fought with last time. He and the rest of the crew begin acting shady. Harrison goes by the Blue Flash of the Federation and fought against Crossbone Vanguard a few years ago. He was also featured in MS Monthly's Top Battles. Tobia is just in the background going, yo bro, you guys lost. Harrison meets Stella and is instantly in love. He seems to like him young. There is also an old man named Shina Kashuiki on their team. He sigs at Zeon and then apologizes, as it is just a force of habit. Oh, you rascally old fascist you. They run into a man-made satellite ahead of them. Stella joins Harrison to do analysis. This will be the first time that Stella has ever seen a monkey in real life. The old Zeon man thinks that this satellite may be the forbidden Project E. A young Zabi once went to a zoo and saw a monkey playing video games. After seeing many of his men die, along with them not having the manpower, he decided to create a program that would train monkeys to pilot mobile suits. The team realized the old man is talking about Garmazabi. They wonder how something from 60 years ago still exists. Uman mentions that post-World War II, there were Japanese soldiers that emerged from the jungles 30 years after the war. It is possible that the same thing happened here, but with monkeys. They head into the colony to find that all of the scientists are dead. Stella checks the logs to find that someone was here just a few days ago. They continue on and find apes that were being cloned to be the perfect super soldier. Someone was planning an apes rebellion. Stella tells the team that mobile suits are surrounding the asteroid. They realize it is a trap. A team of Barbuses begin attacking. One of the Federation pilots, Sergeant Aaron, is piloting a Javelin. The RGM-122 Javelin is a mass-produced general-purpose mobile suit made by the Federation that first debuted in Victory Gundam. This is made by Anaheim Electronics and is built off of the James gun and the Javelin early type. This is EFF's latest and greatest, but once the Zanskar War comes around, these will still be used, but quite obsolete. Weapons include Vulcan guns, a shot lancer, a beam rifle, a beam saber, and a beam shield. The monkeys are able to take down Sergeant Aaron. They are amazed that monkeys are able to fire 4 beam rifles at the same time. Like that means anything after Unicorn? They transcended time and space. And you want me to care about a monkey? Harrison wonders if these monkeys are new types. But that is a contradiction, as humans are supposed to be the next step in human evolution. Tobia heads out. Once Skullheart shows itself, they will be outed as space pirates. But they need to help. He goes to the hangar and creates a giant balloon that looks like a bunch of bananas. He lets the bunch float away, distracting the monkeys. That is when the Gundam makes its attack. Harrison wonders why the space pirates made their appearance, but he is glad they are here. The two begin taking out the monkeys, is a sentence I said about a show talking about Japanese robots. They're able to take them all out. Skullheart quickly makes its lead. Tobia hid the Gundam and made his way back to the asteroid, pretending like he was there the entire time. They wonder why they would do this. Tobia says that primates are violent, scared, and cruel. They are in many ways no different from humans. He believes that humanity is falling into the same trap that they fell into during the 21st century. Their arrogance leads them to believe that they are the superior force in the universe, but that might not necessarily be the case. This comic ends similarly to 2001: A Space Odyssey with the monkey, but this version the monkey turns into a mobile suit. And that will conclude Mobile Suit Crossbone Gundam Skull Heart. I enjoyed the quick vignettes of Crossbone Vanguard post-Jupiter invasion. This manga is the best place for Monkey Pirate madness, but it came so out of left field and right at the end of our story. Monkey New Types is a lot to take in and makes you question everything that has come before. We also got to see an older Judo post Double Zeta. He will show again once we get to Victory Gundam, and we might cover Evolve one day. Next time on our space pirate journey, we will cover Crossbone Gundam Steel 7, where the space pirates run into Bernadette's mother, Europa Dogati, who gives them a warning of another attack from the Jupiter Empire. But that will do it for now, New Types. Remember, when faced with a lack of manpower, always turn to the monkeys. Peace.